the fourth plot S1. S1 is the output of the Butterworth filter from which we are going to recover the message signal. So this message signal, this demodulated signal, we are recovering from the quantized output. In the program just now I told you that in the filter, with S1 equal to filter that we are writing, the input that we are giving is XQ and not DM. This DM is not inputted in the filter. We are inputting the quantized signal in the filter. This quantized signal is inputted in the Butterworth filter, which is a low pass filter. And with the integration process, from this quantized signal, we get back our message signal, which is same as the input signal. So this is the process of delta modulation happening with the program of the octave. So I hope everybody has understood. Kindly note down the program. Okay. So this is have you all noted down or not? You have to run the program, isn't it? Because in the manual, what program is given, that is probably causing some error or something. So these lines are running. You should all note it down and run it in your laptop. So should I now? So only 1 minute is left. I will stop the here and we'll start with the experiment number 6 now. Okay. Is it okay? Should I stop the share?
Ma'am, scroll down.
Ma'am, 1 minute, ma'am.
1 minute में ये खत्म हो जाएगा सेशन. Quickly.
मैम थोड़ा नीचे कीजिए ना उसको.
नीचे. How many lines are there? From line number 1 to line number 51. So all of you should write the program in your laptop, generate the output and attach in the record that you are submitting for delta modulation. Let us start now today's experiment. That is your line coding and binary ASK. This is experiment number 6. Today's experiment. Today's experiment is experiment number 6. So experiment number 6 is about line coding and binary ASK modulation. So line coding, I'm sure all the sections must have finished because it's a part of your DCT syllabus for mid-sem. So are you all aware of the line coding or not? Polar, bipolar, Manchester, AMI, all these line coding techniques. Have you all finished in your class? Huh?
Yes, ma'am.
I don't need to explain. No, I'm not explaining then. I hope you all know about it. So in the line, so today you will do two parts in the experiment. One is your line coding, and another is your binary ASK. So just let me give quickly the overview. Means that till now you have done 5 experiments. Isn't it? Experiment number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So experiment number 1 was AM, DSBSC, SSBSC. Experiment number 2 was FM. Experiment number 3 was PAM, PWM, PPM. So 1, 2, 3, experiment 1, 2, 3, They are types of analog modulation techniques. Analog modulation techniques. In analog modulation technique, your message signal and carrier signal both were analog in nature, analog signals. Message signal is analog, carrier signal is also analog. In experiment number 4, we did what? Your TDM, PCM, isn't it? That is TDM and PCM together. So TDM is a part of analog communication, PCM is a part of digital communication that we've already done. Then in the 5th experiment, we have done delta modulation. Delta modulation is a part of digital communication, DCT. So PCM and DM both are part of DCT. Today we are doing experiment number 6, which is binary ASK modulation and line coding. So now experiment number 6, 7 and 8. These are all related to digital modulation technique. Just like in analog modulation, you have AM, FM, PAM, PWM, and similarly in digital modulation, the 3 basic digital modulation techniques are binary ASK, binary FSK, binary PSK. These are the 3 basic digital modulation techniques. In digital modulation, our message signal will be in the digital form and carrier signal will be in the analog form, which you must have learned so many times in DCT. This is the basic of the DCT, that in digital communication, the information signal has to be in the digital form, carrier signal will be in the analog form. So to perform digital modulation, 4 basic modulation processes are possible. One is called as binary ASK, another is called as binary FSK, and a third is called as binary PSK. Today we will be seeing the binary ASK modulation technique. And along with that, line coding schemes. Line coding scheme means what? What is line coding scheme? Line coding scheme means that how these digital signals can be represented. What are the different types of digital signal? Means if you have a sequence of message bit 1010, then this sequence of message bit 1010 can be represented in different types of digital waveforms. For example, unipolar waveform, unipolar signaling. Number 2, your polar signaling. Number 3, bipolar signaling, which is also called as alternate mark inversion. And number 4 is called as your Manchester, which is also called as split phase signaling. So the sequence of digital bits 1010, if you have any digital bits, these sequence of digital bits can be represented in different types of digital waveform. Digital waveform is not just this. This is not only just one digital waveform. Digital waveforms or digital signals can have different forms, which are called as line coding schemes. So why it is called as line coding scheme? Because this scheme is a part of your PCM. In pulse code modulation chapter, this topic is a part of PCM. You must have done it in pulse code modulation. Why did we do in pulse code modulation? Because in pulse code modulation, what is happening? Our input signal is your analog signal. Input signal is analog, isn't it? And the output signal, take the samples of the signal. So a continuous amplitude, continuous time signal gets converted to continuous amplitude, discrete time signal. Then we are quantizing it. So quantization has discretized the amplitude. So we get a discrete amplitude, discrete time signal. Then encoding, what is doing? Encoder is assigning code words. It assigns code words to the quantized output and transforms them into digital waveform. That is the function of the encoder. And that means output of encoder will be a digital waveform. And this digital waveform is nothing but our PCM signal, PCM out. After this, where is the PCM signal going? It is going into the channel. In the channel, you have regenerative repeater circuits, regenerative repeater. And then it is given to the receiver. So the digital signal that comes out from the encoder, since it is after the encoder, this digital signal is going through the channel. Channel consists of transmission line. Channel is also called as transmission line. So therefore, this name is line coding technique. Means what are the different types of digital signal which can be transmitted through this transmission line. So therefore, the name is line coding techniques. The digital signal that we get from the encoder, what are the different ways this digital signal can be represented and transmitted through this transmission line? Because after encoding, when we get the final PCM signal, which is a digital signal, then it is going through the channel. Channel is also called as transmission line. So what are the different ways of transmitting the digital signal, different types of digital signal which can be transmitted through this transmission line? They are classified as line coding techniques. So line means channel. We are talking about the transmission line through which the digital signal is being transmitted. So what are the different types of digital signals which can be transmitted through the transmission line are classified as line coding techniques. So commonly some line coding techniques are there. So this is the manual for the today's experiment which I'll be sharing. So this is about the video demonstration. So all this you will see in the video demonstration. And these you have already done the theory in your class. These are theory. And this is your kit in the trainer kit in the lab. Physically you will be using the trainer kit as you have used in the different experiment. And these are the waveforms which you are going to observe in the trainer. So if you see the manual, in the manual something called NRZL, RZ, these things are written. So NRZL which is written in the manual, this is nothing but your unipolar signaling. Unipolar signaling, which is of NRZ type, non-return to zero type. In unipolar signaling, bit 1 is transmitted by plus V volt, and bit 0 is transmitted by a 0 volt. So in unipolar coding, bit 1 is transmitted by plus V. So you can see all the bit 1s are transmitted by plus V, all the bit 0s are transmitted by 0 volt. This is 0 volt and this is a plus V volt. This is unipolar signaling. And it is of non-return to zero type. In non-return to zero type, each transmitted pulse occupies one complete bit duration. Each transmitted pulse occupies one complete bit duration TB. Bit duration TB. Duration TB. See, in all the NRZ type of signals, each transmitted pulse will be occupying one. This is a bit duration TB. So each pulse occupies full duration TB. Full duration TB. In case of non-return to zero type. So the first signal which you will see in the CRO in the lab, in the manual it is NRZL. L means level. It is in the manual it is named in this way, but in the theory this is same as your unipolar signaling NRZ type. Second waveform that you see here, in which you see in the manual in the video demonstration, in this second signal, this one here you can see this is again a unipolar signaling. Unipolar signaling. This is return to zero type. Return to zero type means here you can see why it is unipolar signaling, because bit 1, this is bit 1 transmitted by plus V, bit 0s, all these bit 0s are transmitted by 0 volt. So this is unipolar signaling. It is return to zero type because each transmitted pulse has occupied half a bit duration, TB by 2. From here to here it is TB. So if the transmitted pulse occupies half the bit duration, then it is called as return to zero type. So this is unipolar return to zero type. You can see each transmitted pulse has occupied half the bit duration, So this RZ, the second waveform that you will observe in the CRO, is in the manual it is called as RZ, which is actually unipolar signaling return to zero type. Each transmitted pulse is occupying half the bit duration. So this is the second signal. If you see the third signal in the manual, this one, so this is written as return to bias. RB means return to bias in the manual. Manual has been created by this manual has been created by some, according to the circuits which are present in the trainer kit. They have their own names. But in the theory, in the books that you find, whatever they are showing in the manual, they are actually, the names are different in the book. So in the manual, this is called as return to bias signal, whereas this is actually the bipolar signaling technique, which is also called as alternate mark inversion. So in bipolar, and that too, it is return to zero type, RZ type. Bipolar signaling or alternate mark inversion, both are the same names, return to zero type, which in manual it is called as return to bias, which is written here on your screen. So now in bipolar signaling, what is happening? You must have learned in your class also. In bipolar signaling, bit 1 is transmitted by plus V and minus V alternately. So bit 1 is transmitted as plus V and minus V alternately. And bit 0 is transmitted as 0 volt in bipolar signaling. So accordingly, you see here, bit 0, first is bit 0. Bit 0 is transmitted as 0 volt here. Bit 1 is transmitted. Okay, this is polar. I'm sorry. So this is polar. This is not bipolar. I think bipolar is below. Let me see. Where is bipolar? This is bipolar. The fourth one is, this is polar. Okay, let me just tell you some. This is polar, not bipolar, students. I'm so sorry. So this is polar signaling. So return to bias is polar. Okay, this is polar. I thought it is bipolar. So this is polar RZ type. Polar return to zero type. So in the manual, this polar RZ type is called as return to bias. So in polar signaling, what is happening? In polar signaling, you must have learned in your theory also, bit 1 is transmitted as plus V volt and bit zeros are transmitted as minus V volt in polar signaling. So this is third signal is a polar signaling method. So you can see here, first is bit 0 transmitted as minus V. So this is minus V, this is plus V, and this is 0. So bit 0 transmitted by minus B for half the bit duration. Why? Because we have this is for RZ type, return to 0 type. Polar signaling return to 0. So in return to 0, each transmitted pulse occupies half the bit duration. So first is bit 0 transmitted by minus B occupying half a bit duration. Then bit 1 transmitted as plus V occupying half a bit duration. Next is again bit 1 transmitted as plus V occupying half a bit duration. Next is bit 0. All these bit zeros are there. So all the bit zeros transmitted by minus V occupying half a bit duration because it is returned to 0 type. Again, next is bit 1 transmitted as plus V occupying half a bit duration. Next is 0, which is minus V occupying half a bit duration. Again, this is plus V occupying half a bit duration, plus V occupying half a bit duration. So this third signal that you will see in the CRO, this is called as polar signaling return to 0 type. In the manual, this is called as return to bias. Okay, so this is the third one. And the last one that you see in the lab, in the trainer kit, which you'll see in the video demonstration, this is the third signal. This is your AMI, that is your bipolar signaling. AMI is nothing but bipolar signaling technique, which is also called as alternate mark inversion. So in bipolar signaling, what is happening? Bit 1 is transmitted as plus V and minus V alternately for alternate occurrences of bit 1. And bit zeros are transmitted as 0 volt. And again, because each pulse is occupying half a bit duration, this is bipolar signaling return to 0 type. This is return to 0 type. And you can see here bit 0. First is bit 0. So this is plus V, this is 0, and this is minus V. So first is bit 0. We are using bipolar signaling. So bit 0 is transmitted by 0 volt. Bit 1 transmitted as plus V volt occupying half a bit duration. Next bit 1 is again transmitted by minus V. So in bipolar, bit 1 is transmitted as plus V followed by minus V, plus V and minus V for alternate occurrences of 1. That is the characteristic of bipolar signaling. So you can see here bit 0 transmitted as 0 volt, bit 1 transmitted as plus V, next bit 1 transmitted as minus V, then all our bit zeros, they are all transmitted as 0 volt. Then bit 1 is transmitted, next bit 1 is transmitted with plus V because the previous one was transmitted as minus V. Bit 1 in bipolar is transmitted as plus V and minus V alternately. So first is plus V for first bit 1, next is minus V for the next bit 1, then next will be plus V for the next bit 1, bit 0 transmitted as 0 volt, then next bit 1 will be again minus V because previous was plus V, and this again now becomes plus V because this previous is minus V. So this is called as bipolar signaling or alternate mark inversion. Alternate, why it is called alternate? Because bit 1 is transmitted as plus V and minus V for alternate occurrences of 1. So for alternate occurrences of 1, bit 1 is transmitted as plus V and minus V alternately. So therefore it is called as alternate mark inversion. So these are the 4 waveforms which you will see in the video demonstration of the this. Okay, now finally we are coming to the binary ASK. In short, I will just tell you, because you have to see the programming today. You have to see a different program. Today we will not be doing it with Octave. It will be with your GNU, what is it? Some program software that is there. So therefore that needs to be taught by ma'am will teach you. So quickly I'm just telling you the theory for binary ASK so that you are able to understand what is happening. So binary ASK is the, so here you can see the waveform. So binary ASK modulation technique is a type of digital modulation technique where, so first you see binary ASK. Binary ASK full form is binary amplitude shift keying. This is the full form of binary ASK. Why it is called binary? Why are we writing binary all the time? Because in this, whenever we write binary, so therefore if you must have studied in your theory also, if suppose you have a sequence of message bits, BK is a sequence of message bits, say 10111010 something is there. So now if I will modulate, if I am performing ASK modulation for 1 bit at a time. So suppose I am transmitting first bit 1. Bit 1 I have transmitted, then next bit 0, then next bit 1, again then next bit 1. So if I am transmitting one bit at a time, if I am modulating and transmitting one bit at a time, then that modulation technique is called as binary modulation technique. So in binary ASK, I will be performing amplitude shift keying technique on one bit at a time. Okay. Now suppose there is another one which is called as M-ARRY ASK. All the modulation techniques are M-ARRY also, where M is equal to 2 to the power n. So if the number of encoded bits are 2, then there will be 2 to the power 2, 4 possible outputs. So if I am transmitting 2 bits at a time, then I will be performing 4-ARRY ASK. 4-ARRY ASK. So in 4-ARRY ASK, suppose you have 101101. So if I am performing 4-ARRY ASK instead of binary ASK, in that case I will be modulating 2 bits at a time. 2 bits at a time. So that will be called as 4-ARRY ASK. But in the lab, we are doing binary ASK, binary PSK, binary FSK. So all these binary ASK, binary PSK, binary FSK, in all the binary modulation technique, we will be modulating one bit at a time. So we are specially writing binary. Otherwise, we could have written simply ASK, FSK and PSK. So ASK, FSK, PSK, technically we cannot write only ASK, PSK, FSK because there are 2 types of modulation in digital modulation. One is binary modulation, another is M-ARRY modulation. So if the number of encoded bits are 1, when we take n equal to 1, then that system is called as binary. When we take n greater than equal to 2, then that system is called M-ARRY. So therefore, in binary, since we are talking about binary ASK modulation, here we will be modulating one bit at a time. So that is one point. Now you see in binary ASK modulation technique, what is the equation? A binary S of t for binary ASK. How do we represent binary ASK modulation equation? So a binary ASK modulation technique is represented as AC cos of 2 pi FCT for bit 1 and it is equal to 0 volt for bit 0. So that means if I am modulating, suppose in this graph, what are the transmitted bits? 1 0 0 1 0. This is the sequence of bits which we are transmitting, and this sequence of bit is now represented in the form of a digital signal. And you can see here, if you observe the digital signal for this sequence of bit, it is nothing but representing a unipolar digital signal. So in ASK, for generating ASK, our sequence of bits should be in the unipolar form. Just now we have learned different. One is unipolar digital signal, another is polar digital signal, third is bipolar digital signal, fourth is Manchester digital signal. So there are different types of digital signal line coding technique. So under all these line coding techniques, binary ASK, to perform binary ASK modulation, our digital signal should be in the unipolar form. Then only when we can use a multiplier if it is in the unipolar form. If our binary signal, input signal is in a unipolar form, then we can simply multiply the binary signal in unipolar form with the carrier signal AC cos 2 pi FCT, and we can perform the binary ASK modulation. So for this purpose, to use a simple multiplier, we should have our input signal in the unipolar form. So therefore, message signal in ASK will be in the unipolar form. So bit 1 transmitted as plus V, bit 0 is transmitted as 0 volt, unipolar coding. So this is a unipolar digital message signal and a sinusoidal carrier signal. In digital modulation, message signal is digital, carrier signal is sinusoidal. And then how is ASK modulation performed? In binary ASK modulation technique, bit 1 is transmitted by AC cos 2 pi FCT, AC cos 2 pi FCT, and bit 0 are transmitted by 0 volt. Bit 1 is transmitted by AC cos 2 pi FCT, bit 0 is transmitted by 0 volt. So this is how binary amplitude shift keying technique is carried out. In binary amplitude shift keying technique, bit 1 is transmitted by the carrier AC cos 2 pi FCT, bit 0 is transmitted by 0 volt in binary ASK modulation technique. Now, another important thing is that now since we are transmitting AC cos 2 pi FCT for bit 1 and 0 volt for bit 0, this technique is also called as on-off keying technique, OOK. That means why it is called OOK? That means to transmit bit 1 means to perform ASK modulation on bit 1, we simply have to switch on the carrier, because if we switch on the carrier, we are transmitting AC cos 2 pi FCT for bit 1. If we switch off the carrier, then we are transmitting bit 0. Because to transmit 0, you have to transmit 0 volt. To transmit bit 1, you have to transmit the carrier. So to transmit bit 1, we will switch on the carrier. To transmit bit 0, we will switch off the carrier. So this technique is also called as on-off keying technique. Now, and the final thing that we need to know is how it is generated, how this type of signal waveform we can generate. We can simply apply the message signal to a multiplier. So when the message signal in the unipolar form, unipolar digital signal is multiplied with the carrier signal from the oscillator, we can generate a binary ASK signal, which you can see in the here also in this graph. So we can generate this kind of signal by two ways. Either just now I told you, we can switch on the carrier for transmitting bit 1 and switch off the carrier for transmitting bit 0. That is one way. Other way is that we simply multiply. These two signals are given to a multiplier, and a binary ASK signal can be generated. How? So that means for bit 1, transmitting by bit 1, you have to transmit the carrier AC cos 2 pi FCT. Suppose the amplitude of this bit 1 is 1 volt. So when you are giving to a multiplier 1 volt multiplied by AC cos 2 pi FCT, the output becomes AC cos 2 pi FCT for bit 1. Then bit 0 is transmitted by 0 volt. 0 volt multiplied by this carrier, output becomes 0 for bit 0. Similarly, this bit 0 is transmitted by 0 volt. 0 volt multiplied by this carrier, output becomes 0. Next is bit 1. Bit 1 is transmitted by plus 1 volt. So bit 1, that means plus 1 volt multiplied by this carrier, output is nothing but AC cos 2 pi FCT for bit 1. Again, next is bit 0. Bit 0 is transmitted by 0 volt. So 0 volt multiplied by this carrier, output becomes 0. So ASK signal, binary ASK signal can be generated by applying the message signal in the unipolar form, and carrier signal, sinusoidal carrier signal, both will be given to a multiplier, and we can generate a binary ASK signal, which we have just now seen. And you can see here, we are transmitting each bit at a time. Bit 1 by AC cos 2 pi FCT, then bit 0 by a 0 volt, again bit 0 by a 0 volt, bit 1 by AC cos 2 pi FCT. So it is called as binary ASK technique because we are transmitting one bit at a time. Had it been 4-array ASK, we would have transmitted 2 bits at a time. So because we are talking about binary, here you can see we are transmitting one bit at a time. Bit 1 transmitted by AC cos 2 pi FCT, bit 0 transmitted by 0 volt, again bit 1 transmitted by AC cos 2 pi FCT. So this is all about um, uh, your binary ASK modulation technique, which you are going to see today. So it's same thing. You can see it is some it is, and here you can see something written here. That is your the same thing. Your message, how to generate modulator, ASK modulator, message signal and carrier signal are applied to a multiplier. When you multiply message signal and carrier signal, so here something instead of MT, it should be BT, because in digital modulation, since our message signal is digital, the digital message signal is usually denoted as BT, B of T or D of T, binary signal or digital signal. MT we are not using for digital. MT notation is used for analog signals. So here this should be, we should write it as BT or DT to indicate that here the signal is a digital signal. So here, so therefore digital, and this should be in the unipolar form. That is also important. B of T in unipolar form is applied to a multiplier, and when you multiply the two, we are able to generate ASK. Just now we have seen in the waveform. So same thing is shown here. And then finally you see the demodulator. In demodulator, how we are able to get back our message signal. And 0. Okay, so bit 1 transmitted by 1 volt and bit 0 transmitted by 0 volt. This is unipolar coding. And then we have a carrier signal here, AC cos 2 pi FCT. I'm drawing one cycles of carrier signal. So this is our one cycle of carrier signal C of T. And then we have performed ASK modulation. So in ASK modulation, what is happening? If you are multiplying the two, so we get for transmitting bit 1, this is bit 1, bit 1, this is bit 0, 1, 0, 1, 0. So bit 1 transmitted by carrier, bit 0 transmitted by 0 volt. Again, bit 1 transmitted by AC cos 2 pi FCT and bit 0 transmitted by 0 volt. So this is our ASK signal, binary ASK output, isn't it? Bit 1 transmitted by AC cos 2 pi FCT, bit 0 transmitted as 0 volt. Again, bit 1 transmitted by AC cos 2 pi FCT and bit 0 transmitted by 0 volt. So now we have already generated using a multiplier. When we multiply B of T and CT, ASK is generated. Now we have to demodulate. We have to get back this digital signal back from the ASK signal in the demodulator. So how it is done? The ASK signal is output is compared in the comparator to give us back the digital signal. So for that, if you see this here in the manual itself, it is shown here in the waveform. You see the waveform? Yeah, this is the waveform. No, yeah. So this why has this become so small? In let me share a better another one. Okay. So yeah, so this is what we are discussing. So if you see the demodulation, isn't it? So this is your ASK input. This is the input. So I'm just drawing the block diagram. We are applying the ASK input to a rectifier, then to a low pass filter, and then to a comparator. And then we get back our digital signal. So input is the ASK signal. This is the ASK signal. AC cos 2 pi FCT for bit 1 and 0 volt for bit 0. Again AC cos 2 pi for bit 1 and 0 volt for bit 0. So the input ASK input we are applying first to a rectifier. So what is the output of rectifier? The output of rectifier is nothing but this. This is wrongly written here. Should write here rectifier output. This is the output of the rectifier. So output what does a rectifier do? It gives you either the positive half of the input, or it gives only the negative half of the input. So the output of rectifier you can see is only the positive half of the ASK. And all this all positive half of ASK has come in the output of the rectifier. So output of rectifier has been already drawn here. This is the positive half of the input ASK signal from the output of rectifier. Then the output of rectifier is applied to the low pass filter. What is low pass filter? Low pass filter is an integrator. We all know that integrator works as a low pass filter. So these rectified output that we are getting, they are in the form of very thin pulses. So these thin pulses are given to the low pass filter working as an integrator, and therefore these pulses will be integrated, and you can see here you will get a continuous waveform like this out of these pulses, because the integration of a rectangular pulse is like this. The output of an integrator for a rectangular pulse is something which is becoming analog in nature. If you have a rectangular pulse inputted to an integrator which is working as a low pass filter, then the output of the low pass filter becomes almost like analog if the input is a rectangular pulse, according to the charging and discharging of the capacitor. So accordingly, the output from the rectifier, they are applied to low pass filter, and you will get a continuous signal like this, because low pass filter is working as an integrator. So all these thin pulses will be integrated and they form a continuous output from the low pass filter. Then the output, so if you see this here, if you see the output of low pass filter, we are almost getting the digital output, isn't it? We are almost getting 1 0 1 0 1 0 something 1 0 1 1 0 something like this. So to get a perfect digital output, this output of low pass filter is now applied to a comparator. So the comparator output is always a high for when you compare the input signal, that means low pass input signal is compared with a reference. So we will first give a reference here. A reference voltage will be created and applied to a comparator, and the input of the low pass filter and the reference voltage both will be compared, and you can see after comparison the output of the comparator will be a high for all the high outputs of the high inputs of the low pass filter. Here you can see this output of low pass filter has become a high, this output has become low, and this output has become high. So this is the output of a comparator. So output of a comparator we will get as a perfect digital output in the form of rectangular pulses. So rectangular pulses generated from the comparator by comparing the low pass filter output with a reference which we will be creating out of this low pass filter. That means above any voltage above this reference, a high will be generated. Any voltage below this reference, a low will be generated. Any voltage above this reference, high will be generated. Any voltage below this reference, low will be generated. So this is the output of the comparator, which is nothing but the final output of the means demodulated output of the ASK signal. So this is how we are able to recover ASK signal using a rectifier, low pass filter, and a voltage comparator. And this is the octave program you don't have to do today. So for ASK episode, now for the rest of the experiment that we have, we are not going to do octave programming. They will be simulated using the other software, which ma'am will now tell you in some time. So I think we are completed with the theory explanation of ASK. Okay, so I'm stopping the share here. So Subhashri madam, Mamta madam, आप लोग अभी एक्सप्लेन करिएगा ना, वीडियो डेमोन्स्ट्रेशन दीजिएगा, क्या आप करेंगे? हाँ एक्सप्लेन कर दीजिए क्योंकि टाइम हो रहा है काफी. हाँ पहले एक्सप्लेन कर दीजिए, फिर वीडियो को आप गूगल क्लासरूम में अपलोड कर दीजिएगा. हाँ ठीक है. तो मैं स्टॉप करती हूँ. आई एम स्टॉपिंग द शेयर, और शेयर आप टेक ओवर कर लीजिए, है ना, आप स्टार्ट कर दीजिए. हाँ हाँ
मैम मैनुअल मैनुअल सबमिशन का डेट एग्जाम के बाद रखिएगा.
हाँ, obviously 2 experiment you have to submit. No, experiment number 5 also I think have you submitted? Did I give experiment 5?
Yes, ma'am, you gave,
Did.
but yeah, code was not
अच्छा
running. So today we will practice again.
अच्छा तो हाँ तो after तो वही तो I'm telling you have to submit your record after the mid-sem. After
Yes,
mid-sem
ma'am.
you will submit.
Okay,
That is what I'm saying. Obviously you will not submit in the mid-sem. After mid-sem you will submit. अच्छा अभी
Okay.
देखो मैम is going to explain something. All of you should listen carefully.
मैम 2 मिनट के बाद मतलब खत्म हो जाएगा ये मीटिंग तो
हाँ मैं इसको पहले ये कर आई एम स्टॉप तो इधर एंड करके ऑल ऑफ यू शुड ज्वाइन अगेन ओके बिकॉज इन 1 minute दिस विल ओवर सो आई एम एंडिंग इट ऑल ऑफ यू ज्वाइन क्विकली
बाद में
नहीं उसको दोनों 5 और 6 को आफ्टर मिड सेम कर देना क्योंकि वो तो प्रोग्राम तो यू हैवंट डन नो लास्ट टाइम तो टुडे यू हैव टोल्ड यू द प्रोग्राम नो यू हैव टू रन इट देन यू हैव टू टेक आउट द आउटपुट एंड देन यू विल पेस्ट नो
ओके मैम
हाँ दोनों को बोथ 5 and 6 you submit after mid sem हाँ
ओके
हाँ मैडम आप कुछ आपकी आवाज कुछ नहीं आ रही आप कुछ बोल रहे हैं क्या शुभश्री मैडम
Oh, sorry, ma'am. Okay. Okay. What you have to do? You have to click on GNU radio icon. Okay, this is your GNU radio companion icon. Just double click on this. Then you will get one black color screen like this. Okay. After it will take 1 minute something. Then it will open like this one screen. Okay. Here you see here file is there. Just go to the file. Then open new and open the QTGUI. Okay. Then this is the platform for your GNU software. Okay. Then what you have to do? You have to change the sample rate. For the sample rate, change what you have to do? Variable. Just double click on this variable. Okay. And how much you have to take this sample rate means whatever frequency you have taken, maximum frequency you have taken in your circuit, just rate more than 3 times of that. If I will take the frequency is 100 hertz, then I can take 300, 400, something like that. Means more than 300. Okay. So here I am taking it 1000. Just I am taking how much you want, you can take. That depends upon you. Okay. Okay. Then for in order to design our ASK modulator, we need one signal source to generate a bit stream. Okay. And generate a carrier signal. So for that, what you have to do, just press Control F. Okay, when you will click on Control F, then you will get like this. Okay, here we can type signal source. Okay, here you can get signal source. Okay, then bring this one. Okay, I need two signal source. One is for your message signal, another one for your carrier signal. So just double click on that. You will get your signal source here. Okay. Then for this signal source, just double click on that, and here your output type should be your float. Always you have to take this output type as your float. Okay. Then okay, do apply and okay. Okay, in same way you have to go for this one, and here do this one as your float. And for carrier signal, I have to take cosine wave, and for your message signal, I have to take square wave. So here, what I will do, this I will change this one to square. Okay.
Ma'am, could you show from where you got that signal source option?
Here, after you can just press on Control F. When you will click on Control F, here like this search option you will get. Okay. Here, just write signal source. Okay. See here, it came. Just double click on that, you will get here the signal source. Okay.
Yes, ma'am. Okay.
Okay. Then your frequency, amplitude, whatever you want, you can take this one. Okay. Here frequency, I have I will take as 100 hertz. Okay. And for message signal, I can take this one as your 5 hertz. Okay. Then your cosine signal represent your carrier, and your square wave, it will your baseband signal. Then go to your multiply. Again, same way you have to search here multiply block. Okay. Here see, you can see here multiply block. Just double click on that, you will get this one as your multiply block. Again, similar way, just double click on that and do this one as your float. Okay. Students, are you following me?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Up to this much, all of you have finished? Or any doubt? If anybody is having doubt, you can ask. No doubt. Okay. Then we can proceed. Then, sir, again you have to search your time sync. Okay. Click on that time sync. QTGUI time sync. Okay. Just double click on that. Again you have to change this one to float. Then grade should be yes. And auto scale should be yes. Number of inputs should be 3. Okay. Then go to configure, control panel. You have to do yes. Then signal. Here, which signal? My first one is your carrier signal. So here I can write carrier signal. Okay. Then for this second one, I will take a modulated signal. Then my third one means this second one. This one is your message signal. Okay. You can take this one as modulating signal you can take. Or baseband signal you can take. Okay. Then apply and then okay. Okay, see here before it was 1 input. Now it is 3 input. Okay, what we have to do? We have to connect the block. First, just click on this. One arrow will come. Connect this one like this. Okay, then here means this time sync. What is the use of your time sync? For visualization of your signal. That is your 3 signal we need to visualize. That is your input signal, means for message signal, carrier signal, and your modulated signal. Okay. So first one I have taken as your message signal. So from here I have to connect to this one. Then my second signal is your modulated signal, means from output of your multiply, whatever signal we will get, that is our modulated signal. So I have to connect this one to this. Okay. And our third one is your message signal or baseband signal. So here I have to connect. Okay. After doing all the connection, what we have to do? We have to save the signal. So save the screen. How we will save the project? Here go to file, then do your save as. Okay, and here see, it is written untitled.jsc. The .jsc extension only you have to save, otherwise you will get error. Okay, I am giving here ASC project 1, 2. Okay, and you have to save in the home. Okay, in this home only you have to save, otherwise you will get error. If you will save in the desktop or any other drive, then you will get error. Okay, then do save. Okay, then what I have to do? I have to run the program. This button is your run button. Okay, and this one is your stop button. So after clicking on this, Here, if any error will be there, means we can find out here. Okay. If there will be no error, then automatically we will get our output like this. Here, just I'm expanding this one. Three signals it is coming. The blue color line is your carrier signal. The green color is your baseband signal, and the red one is your modulated signal. Okay. One by one we will see. First we will see our baseband signal. See here, this is our baseband signal. Okay. Then we will see our carrier signal. See, this is our carrier signal. This is the high frequency you have taken. You can reduce the frequency also. Here I have taken 100 hertz. You can take 50 hertz, 60 hertz, something like that. So that it will be expanded. Okay. Then your modulated signal. This is your modulated signal, ASK signal. Okay. Understood? And for demodulation, in the manual, everything is given. You have to do by yourself. If any doubt, then you can ask. Okay.
Ma'am, please show the main screen.
This one. Right.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Ma'am, how you just run the program?
Here, see one triangle is there, na? This one.
Okay.
Just click
Ma'am,
on
it's
that.
disabled.
If any error will be there, means it will be disabled.
Okay.
Okay. Every time for every block, you have to do your type. This output type should be float. Okay. And see one more thing. Whenever you are giving the name, whenever you save your project, it should come here. This option is there. If it will not come, then it may show error. Okay. It may show. Okay.
All the students have understood or not? These are all simple things. It is here. You don't have to write any program like your octave. Only with blocks you are generating the signal. So you have to create the blocks. Ma'am has explained to you how to create the blocks. Means first you should know the theory. In the theory, you have learned that ASK can be generated by multiplying the message signal in unipolar form with the sinusoidal carrier signal. That is the theory. That theory block diagram is now implemented in this GNU radio. Using same blocks have been created in this GNU radio. So here you don't have to write any program like in octave in this method. You should know the theoretical block. Those theoretical blocks have to be created here using GNU radio, and you have to run it. That is what you have to do. Everybody has understood. Now ma'am should repeat the process again. All of you have noted down the steps you have to follow. Now should she repeat again?
Ma'am, could you show again?
She can show. Ask. Then why you are hesitating and asking? We are all there for you only, na? Ma'am will repeat it. It's a new thing, na? It is a new thing. Once you know the process, to note it down in some copy or something. What is the step?
Ma'am, will you share this video in the Google Classroom later?
Yes, ma'am. That would be better.
Subhashri madam, can you share it in the Google Classroom? Ma'am might not have recorded. No, have you, madam? Can you share in the Google Classroom?
Which one, madam? Recording? Yes, ma'am.
अच्छा, आप पहले एक बार आप बता दीजिए, फिर अगर हो पाएगा तो शेयर कर दीजिएगा गूगल क्लासरूम में, हैं?
क्या बताना है मैम?
ये जो आप अभी एक्सप्लेन किए वो आप गूगल क्लासरूम में दे सकते हैं तो ना, ये जो अभी
वो दे सकते हैं, वो मैनुअल
नहीं, जो आप अभी बताए ये जो सब एक्सप्लेनेशन
तो रिकॉर्डिंग तो नहीं हुआ मैम, वो
हाँ वही, इसीलिए दैट इज व्हाट आई एम सेइंग ना, मैम इज नॉट रिकॉर्डेड, नो शी कांट शेयर, सो यू जस्ट नोट इट डाउन, मैम विल रिपीट, you note it down in some copy the process. Okay, students, are you listening?
Yes,
ma'am.
We can share the manual with them. In the manual everything is written.
JNU radio वाला manual?
हाँ मैम.
अच्छा ठीक है. Okay, I will share the JNU radio manual. From there you can go through and you can just follow the steps. There's a separate manual for JNU radio. The manual that I shared just now for the ASK, that is a usual manual with the Octave program. So instead of that manual, there is one more manual that is for JNU radio programs for ASK, FSK, PSK. All our steps are given. So I'll be sharing that. You can follow from there and run the program, all of you. Is it okay? Then I think it will be helpful, the program, the manual. Okay, all of you. And you have to do the demodulator also, isn't it? Demodulator, ma'am has not explained. Demodulator, you have to refer the original manuals. Two manuals I'll be sharing in the Google Classroom. One is the normal manual, the one that I just now shared and explained to you, the theory. In that rectifier, low pass filter, comparator, those blocks are there for the demodulation. So those blocks, rectifier, low pass filter, and the comparator, these three blocks you should generate using the JNU radio and see if you are getting the demodulated output or not. That one ma'am has not shown now. So you have to do that one on your own by following the process which ma'am has explained for the ASK for the modulation part. So modulation and demodulation, both you have to do using JNU radio. Means all the subsequent programs, the experiments now that we have, experiment number 7, 8, both. So all this you have to do using JNU radio only. Now octave programming will not be there. Octave programming till delta modulation. 6, 7, 8 JNU radio. And 9 and 10 is open-ended experiment, which that will discuss in the class what you have to do there. Those are different things. The normal experiments now, your 6, 7 and 8 you have to do using JNU radio. अच्छा मैम एक बार और, is it clear ना? Ma'am should explain again. You will follow from the manual. Is it okay? All of you. Are you all having the laptop with you or not? Have you opened your laptop? Have you all downloaded?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Did you try what ma'am told just now? Can anybody share? If anybody has tried getting the output.
Yes, ma'am. They will share. We will check whether they have done or not.
All of you try. All of you.
Share.
Share. Okay.
Is it visible?
Visible.